Tonight, visiting Commonwealth team meets Electoral Commission. Technology used to address fishing issues. And find out what's causing this stench. Very good evening. A visiting Commonwealth delegation was briefed by the Electoral Commission this afternoon on the progress it has made thus far. Chairman Chen Ban-yang says the meeting was positive but remained tight-lipped about the details. But he also says they are now unsure whether the Commonwealth observers will be in the country in September. Myron Williams with the details.
It was the first meeting between Fiji's Independent Electoral Commission with any visiting overseas delegation. Commission Chairman Chen Ban-yang came out of the closed meeting optimistic of the relations between the two teams as we head to the September polls.
We had a very good, fruitful discussion, and they expressed a very keen interest to help us, support us in whatever we would require and within their abilities.
With help now promised, the onus is now on the Commission to let the Commonwealth know the areas in which they should direct their assistance.
They suggested a few, and we also suggested a few of our own as well, and they would say that they will take it on board, and they're looking forward to hearing from us.
The Electoral Commission still need to finalize their wish list to the Commonwealth and did not want to disclose too much today.
Not at the moment, because we're still at the discussion stages, so I think it would be premature for me to say that publicly.
And the question of having observers from the Commonwealth during elections in September was also discussed.
We talked about that, but no decision has been made about that yet.
The Electoral Commission is now focused on preparations to conduct free and fair elections, but says there are many challenges ahead. Myron Williams, Fiji One News.
The Electoral Commission is hoping that the position of the Supervisor of Elections is filled soon. Commissioner Chairman Chen Ban-yang told Fiji One News this afternoon the Commission was still in the dark about the appointment. However, Yang adds they are optimistic someone will be appointed soon. Under the Constitution, the Supervisor of Elections shall be appointed by the President on the advice of the Constitutional Officers Commission.
I think, like everybody else, I think we would like that position to be put into place as soon as possible, and we're hoping that they will be done.
Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 64-year-old farmer in Wainimbuka yesterday. Spokesperson Atunaisa Sokomuri said the man was trying to cross the Wainimbuka River a little after midday. The victim was trying to get across with his daughter and two grandsons. Sokomuri said the man attached a piece of timber to a rope and tied this to his neck. A search was conducted and the farmer's body was found. Attempts were made to revive him, but these proved futile. He was rushed to the Naiavu Health Centre, but was pronounced dead on arrival. Sokomuri said his body is being kept at the Korovo Hospital, awaiting the post-mortem examination. Foreign Affairs Minister Ratu Inoke Kumbombola is in India to attend the biennial Foreign Office consultations. A government statement says Ratu Inoke will also meet his counterpart, Shri Salman Khurshid, on Wednesday. Consultations this year will focus on a wide range of areas of cooperation, including agriculture, health, sugar, transnational crime, regional barefoot college for women, and youth and sports. These will be tabled and negotiations will be carried out. Ratu Inoke said our countries share mutual interests with opportunities for cooperation and partnerships. He said these needed to be fully explored in order to maximize benefits. Ratu Inoke adds that Fiji has benefited through the bilateral assistance programs and projects. A series of bilateral meetings for senior officials gets underway tomorrow. This will be led by the Permanent Secretary Amena Yauvoli. With a lot said about depleting fish stock here and in the region, authorities are being encouraged to tap into available technology. This is just one of many ways to address illegal and unreported fishing. Ravai Vafa'o with the details.
Originally designed for ship-to-shore or ship-to-ship identification, the Automatic Identification System or AIS can be what Pacific Island countries are looking for to counter illegal or unreported fishing.
Provide a collision avoidance system, safety and security at sea for the vessels, but it also allows us to see vessels that are on the ocean in areas that might be considered sensitive areas or where they might be fishing legally or illegally using this vessel tracking system.
AIS, which is simple to install and is quite affordable, involves a self-contained transmitter being fitted onto a vessel which sends signals to a satellite. This means that information is readily available for stations and vessels.
And then we can take the information from that database and analyze it to understand where the vessels are moving, where they're located, and how we can understand where all those vessels are in relation to the fishing activity, as well as the ports and other important information that we need to know.
Countries under licensing conditions have been using AIS for the last 20 years, and it's proven to be quite successful. However, with regards to the Pacific, the fairly new concept is still being tested, with one of the old fishing companies leading the charge. AIS is also expected to allow for transparent dealings.
We're looking at more as a traceability and transparency tool. It's a way to for proactive fishing vessels to say, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're trying to be as transparent and traceable as possible because we are interested in the sustainability of our fishery. And as a result of that, we put them on a white list. They gain access to some of the more lucrative markets.
The onus is now on the state to carefully monitor the use of AIS and to implement it in its licensing requirements. So for example, if a foreign vessel is to be discovered having turned off its AIS while operating in Fiji's waters, penalties will immediately kick in.
We're looking at more as a traceability and transparency tool. It's a way to for proactive fishing vessels to say, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're trying to be as transparent and traceable as possible because we are interested in the sustainability of our fishery. And as a result of that, we put them on a white list. They gain access to some of the more lucrative markets.
Given the state's desire to tap into new technology to sustain our fishing industry, the AIS is a good indicator that such technology could work to our advantage. Ravaiva Fo'o, Fiji One News.
Meanwhile, there's calls for a regional approach to be taken to address the problem of over- and unreported fishing. For Pacific Island nations, foreign vessels catching all the fish before they migrate into EEZs is the main concern. This could have an impact on regional countries' fishing industries.
The Pacific Island nations, their strength is their ability to stay unified in this region. The reason that they have what they do have at this point in time is only because the Pacific Island nations have worked together through the FFA and through sub-regional groups like the parties to the Nauru Agreement. And it's important that they maintain that coherence, because if they don't, then the large distant water nations and the distant water fleets, will pick apart the island nations.
However, a lot of inroads have been made, especially where regional agreements are concerned and which are closing in on illegal fishing. Cook says that it's not too late for island countries to take back ownership of their waters.
I'm very positive. I think there's a real chance to turn things around in this region, but it's really going to require the Fiji government and the other small island state governments to step forward and say, we want to address this issue. We need to address it now. This is important to our communities. It's a $6 billion resource in the region, and the Pacific Islands should be the ones benefiting from that resource.
Still ahead tonight, Regional Media Summit gets underway in Noumea. And find out how these new tenants are enjoying their homes. Hello again. Residents of a housing estate in Rewai are kicking up a stink over a sewage leak. Those living here at the Grantham Housing Estate are calling on authorities to address a sewage pipe leak. Cracks in the sewer pipe has resulted in this waste leaking into the creek. Residents claim the problem has been existent for years now, but no effective measures have been taken so far.
We have been complaining this to relevant authorities for so many years. We have been living here for almost 20 years, and this problem keeps on arising.
The problem got worse 2 months ago when the sewage pipe got damaged even more than it already was. Boiler says the issue was raised with the Suva City Council 2 weeks ago, but claims that nothing was done. The contaminated creek flows through to the Watuanga rivers, where people are often fishing.
At night, it really smells horrible. It penetrates our homes and comes into our bedrooms and living rooms and so forth. We really can't get away from it.
And numerous attempts were made to obtain comments from the Suva City Council, but these proved futile. The third Pacific Summit began in New Caledonia today with delegates attending pre-summit workshops. About 80 participants from around the region are attending workshops funded by PACMES. One of the workshops is addressing the impact of social media and how it can be used to improve reporting. Delegates heard how social media networks like Twitter and Facebook are changing the way stories are being covered. Another group of participants are attending a workshop on broadcast technology. Delegates here are discussing ways and means of improving media coverage in the region. The theme for this year's summit is constructive engagement for a strong and responsible media. The President of the Congress of New Caledonia will officially open the summit tomorrow evening. A Lambasa family is homeless after their home was razed in a fire yesterday afternoon. Police spokesperson Atunaisa Sokomuri said the four-bedroom home, along with its contents, was completely destroyed. The incident occurred at Navundi in Lambasa. Sokomuri said the home was vacant at the time of the incident. The cost of damage is estimated at $30,000. Investigations continue. New tenants of the Langilangi housing project at Jitu Estate say their homes are indeed a blessing. Fiji One News caught up with some who were making their weekly loan repayments today.
This morning, the Fiji One News team caught up with the tenants of the newly opened Langilangi housing project, who were on their way to make their weekly rent payment. The 3 million low-cost housing project is a collaborative project between the government and the People's Community Network, aimed at providing affordable housing for those living in informal settlements. These new tenants were grateful for their new homes.
Before the place, comparing to our life before, we have to accept person who have electricity and we have to pay them so much money, like $25 a week, but in here our bills is less than what we have been doing for the past 30 years.
For some, the years living under harsh environments is now a distant memory, especially since families can have a permanent legal home.
I've been staying in Langilangi since 1985 when my daughter was 4 years old. We have been staying there till my husband passed away. I have been looking after the family till we were told to come here. I want to thank the Lord for giving me this house.
For the Naidu family, peace of mind is what they have now, given that they now have a 2-bedroom flat to call home.
Since we got this, we are happy. I couldn't have built a house like this. Payment is easy. Everything is easy. It's good.
The 3-bedroom and 2-bedroom flats are priced at $30,000 and $25,000 respectively, with the state and NGOs funding half of the total cost for each flats. So those living in the 3-bedroom flats will over the next 6 years pay $50 per week. Those in the 2-bedroom flats pay $40 a week for 6 years. Elderly tenants and those living with disabilities pay $25 per week for a 12-year period. Once payments are made, the tenants have full ownership.
There was a big difference where we used to stay before compared to this. The house was not good. It was overcrowded with people. It is a relief when we came to this house. It is very quiet and it is good for my wife who is bedridden and my grandson who is disabled.
Plans for the next development phase, which is expected to house 60 families, is scheduled to commence next month. Reviver for all, Fiji One News.
With a lot of controversy surrounding the fishing industry, those involved agree that there is much to be done. However, the size of Pacific Island countries often puts us at a disadvantage. Government is now looking at other ways of sustaining our tuna stock.
The tuna industry is a major contributor to the nation's economy, bringing over 200 million over the last few years. However, since its humbling beginnings in the 1960s, our tuna industry has been overexploited with little or no sustainability plans in mind. This is about to change, with the state looking at ways to get back our tuna stock to what it was. With the issuance of licenses reduced from 65 to 60 this year, the state hopes this will help replenish our fish stock. A major component are penalties, with the state now considering the imposition of higher fines.
The fines, they will be tabulated in our offshore management regulation. That regulation is still with SG. We're still awaiting that one to come out. There is increase in the fines in terms of dollars. We noted that the fines that have been there before are still lower.
With foreign vessels fishing illegally in our waters, Stakeholders are now tapping into available technology to keep track of illegal operators.
Equipment that can track the vessels that are fishing. So our office are doing that from within our office and also from FFA in the Solomons. They work together in doing that. And we also have observers that board the vessels that are fishing.
With limited resources at our disposal, the focus will be directed to specific areas within the ministry as well.
The tuna is not owned by any single country. Whenever they come to in that country, that is when you can fish. So it's really those nations to ensure that they should sustainably manage whatever that comes to us in order for other nations to catch the tuna too, as well as Fiji.
However, with the tuna being a migrating species, the ministry believes a collective regional approach is the only way to tackle foreign ships from overfishing in our waters.
Fiji is part of FFA and WCPFC. That is where the region sit together and come to a decision as to what to go. But in those big meetings, normally the bigger countries have their own say, and we have to be collective in what we say for the region.
Reviver for all, Fiji One News.
Stay with us, we have Pacific News up next.